And welcome. This is the Cookie Monster on 105 The Drive speed report. And honestly, there's not enough reporting going on in KMR right now. Apologize about that. And for those following my YouTube channel on 105 The Drive, I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed the gaps between the tracks. A lot of FM6, no M15. The M15 races will be posted in the off season, so stay tuned. And you will get caught up on all of the exciting races that happen throughout the season. But now we are in the chase, and I have with me driver the number 10, Stuart Haas Ford Swift Bunny, who is in the Final Four, which we'll touch on that later. And so while we are going through the speed report, we'll also catch you up on races you may have missed throughout the season. So pay attention to the background there. As you'll see, we'll start with the Brickyard Indianapolis 500 and move along through the field with Indy GP, Daytona, and Daytona Roval, which are all of the tracks. There was another one, but I had an electronic failure that took me out. So we hope you enjoy. And again, like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in and it will be answered live or later on via a comment. And so it's definitely been an exciting chase. Just a lot of action that went on. The first round of 12, pretty much a lot of nightfall domination. That's what we've been used to seeing so far this season. It's just nightfall domination. He's just won. He won Kansas. He won Auto Club. He won Dover. He won Richmond night. You know, that's over half of the round. It's a lot of wins. Nightfall domination is what we have seen thus far. However, when we get to the round of 6, all of a sudden that changes. That's right, 0 wins in the round of 6. So how would he fare getting into the chase? We'll update you, or getting into the Final Four. We'll update you on that. Swift, you're here, and so which one of these races in the chase stand out to you the most?
I feel like Auto Club was a really important race because of the amount of fuel saving Nightfall was able to do to pull off the victory against Speedy Driver.
Yeah, that was a big race there at Auto Club, and that was a fun race again. Speedy would finish second in that race, but Nightfall was just able to hang on. And that was a unique race because there was no cautions. The race went green from beginning to end, so that was a pivotal
Not to mention
there.
If Speedy wins that, he's in the round of 6 and someone in there isn't.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you, one of the biggest races that stood out to me was the restrictor plate in the restrictor plate round, the Daytona night race. That was a crazy race. That was a fun race. It came down to the end, and Speed B was able to get in. And why is that significant? I don't personally feel that if Speed B would have not won that race, I'm interested to see who would have won that race and how that would have affected the chase, because that was a serious weightlifter for him, and that was a race that was absolutely dominated by the 27 of Cookie, and it didn't culminate into a win. A wreck there at the end, and as a matter of fact, let's show you clips of that race while we're talking about it, because that was a serious battle. But I think just that whole round, the restrictor plate round, was one that was tough for all of the drivers. there to really come up with, manufacture advancement into the Final Four. When we talk about this chase, how tough of a chase, you've been in quite a few of them. How tough of a chase was this compared to a couple last season before last chase?
I'd say the round of 6 was definitely a lot harder. Round of 12 wasn't bad because it had diverse tracks, but round of 6, anything can happen at the restricted plates, so those are basically wild cards for everyone. In the road course, you know, the normal few people dominate that, or it's usually in between 2, so you have an idea who's gonna win that.
Yeah.
Comparing it to the last few, like my whole thing is the other rounds, or like in previous seasons, they had a lot more diverse tracks, so you could expect different results. Compared to the restrictors, they're all just wild cards and whoever can survive.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Is definitely a tough chase because you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't really have a bailout. You know, we had in the restrictor plate round, we had Indianapolis, the oval, that was ran actually tonight, and we'll get you caught up on the Xbox One 250 at Indy. Get you caught up on that later. That was on NASCAR 15. But outside of that, you don't have a bailout. You don't have anything you can go to, mile and a half, you know, oval that you can say, okay, well, I had a bad restrictor plate, but here's where I'm going to get everybody. It was just one restrictor plate after another. And when you didn't have a restrictor plate, you had a road course. So it just sucked. It just, you know, all the way around. It just was kind of difficult for everyone. And I think for me personally, taking us to our next segment, Final Four winners, or Final Four advancement. We had yourself. How does it feel, Swift, to advance to the Final Four and have a chance to fight for the title?
I think it feels great because I personally believe I had one of the faster cars in the season compared to everyone else who was in the final 6. So I felt like we could get it done at least one track. We ended up getting it done at Talladega. So that was our second one at Talladega for the season.
Right. So you have yourself, and joining you, Fractured Chain. Joining you is Speed B, and joining you is Nightfall. No, not Cookie. I'm not in it. Eliminated tonight. I just want to say for the record, it's been an awesome season. It's been a long season. It's been an awesome season. It's been a good year. But the record of 30 plus seasons, being in the final, the championship thick of things, it's about time that run comes to an end. I didn't imagine it lasts forever. Well, actually, I kind of did, but I guess all good things come to an end. And so now these guys will fight for the Final Four. So out of the Final Four, Nightfall, yourself, Fractured, and Speed B, who has the best chance, you feel, Swift, of winning a championship?
I say Nightfall, honestly. I believe I'll be able to beat him at Kentucky. But he's really good at saving fuel. And Chicagoland's a saving fuel track, and he's just fast in general, so we'll see how that plays out. And for Fractured and Speed B, Fractured, he's fast on a stock setup. Like I'd say top 3 car. But once we put the setups in, Fractured doesn't really have any like setups to use. So he kind of falls off in pace. And Speed B, he has a decent amount of enemies out there, so. And he's not the fastest on the long run. And he's a little too aggressive sometimes, so. I feel like that could bite him.
I'll tell you, when I look at that final 4, one thing I've noticed is that Nightfall went winless in the round of 6. Why? Because you either had a giant 2-mile track or you had restrictor plates. And even at the Roval, he seemed to struggle just a little bit, which is not typical of a Nightfall performance. So I think that was an eye-opener for me. However, where has he dominated for the majority of the season? It's been either 1.5 miles, or road courses, typically. And so here we are again at 1.5 miles, and I just have to say it doesn't look too good for the field. But I will say also that the fastest drivers in KMR this season are in the top 4, are the top 4 that made it. So I will say that, and you know, hey, you know, it is what it is, you know. But if we were to talk about anything now, we move forward, we'll step away from the chase, we'll come back to it. Let's talk now about drivers that are fighting for their season next season, literally fighting to stay in KMR, because one thing is for certain: no one wants to run the qualifier that has ran it before. It is not a race. It's not a group of races you want to partake in, because it is just absolute mayhem from the moment the green flag drops into that final race when it's all over. It's mayhem. It's no actual structure. You can't pit and rely on pit stops and stuff. Yeah, it ain't. It's a short dash race to determine whoever wins gets in, and that is a lot of pressure to put yourself under to start the season. So we have a driver here who is actually in that battle to try and maintain his position in the top 10 in points, and that's Ender James in the 88. What's up, Ender? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing tonight, Cookie?
Good. Make sure your audio is included. That way we can hear what you're saying.
Yes.
All right. So, Ender James, how would you grade your season thus far, and what transpired with you between earlier on in the season and then now?
So then probably like a 6.5 to 7. Still haven't gotten that first one yet, which I really want. But I feel like I've been really consistent in the times that I race. I feel like I could have made it to the round of 6 if I actually if I wasn't missing races. Just felt like I missed too many races and put myself in a big hole.
Definitely. Talk a little bit about, you know, earlier on in the season, you start the season, you were in the 34 rod.
Yeah.
And then talk about your transition back to the team that ultimately gave you the most success in Hendrick Motorsports, driving that 88.
So at the start of the season, for Hendrick Motorsports, I didn't really like the people that were on it. The only person that I liked on that team was Speed B. Like, I just didn't feel comfortable having the other teammates. I believe at the start of the season it was Stampy and somebody else. So I just wanted to go on my own team, single car team. I was going to add people, I just wanted to make sure it was the right people. but I couldn't find anybody. So then I went back to Hendrick Motorsports because I saw that Stampy wasn't racing at all, and so I just went back there with my old team and felt more comfortable there.
Yeah, we've noticed a dramatic improvement in what you did in the 34 compared to what you're doing now in the 88, running a lot more consistent and everything. But let me ask you, do you think if you'd have stayed in the 34 that you could have had the success that you're having now?
I think it would have been the same. I don't think a number would matter, or teammates. Because with all the other teams, nobody's really been racing like teammates, especially Stuart Haas.
Okay, I'm not gonna go there. Yeah, now let's talk about this battle here, because now obviously you didn't make the chase, so now you're in this battle for the top 10. How hard of a battle has it been for you since the chase started? How hard of a battle has it been for you to stay in the top 10? And what do you think you need to do to seal the deal and keep yourself locked into KMR?
I don't feel like it's had that big of a battle on me because I don't have as many people to race again. I don't have that pressure of trying to get to the next round because there's no next round. That next round for me is next season, and there's less people fighting for it because you know those first 6 people are already locked in. So there's like 4 others almost every race, 4 to 5 others that you're racing against, and I just feel like I have more. I feel like I have less pressure on me because I'm not racing for a championship. Just trying to get in. Just being consistent.
Okay. So let's fast forward here. Obviously, if you maintain your position now, you lock yourself in. You're in there. So my question to you now is, what do you think you need to do or improve on to make the chase for next season?
I just need to a goal that I have almost every week is just no DNFs. Just try to, and no going a lap down to nightfall. Just trying to stay on the lead lap, no DNFs, and then we'll wait for that caution to come out, make the right adjustments to our car, try to get that late race caution, and just try to make a run at the end. I feel like I do better towards the end of the race, so I'm just trying to. Just gotta finish races, because I know tonight I DNF'd at Daytona, which is something that I hate happening. And I feel like if I do that every week,
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Hello?
Sorry, I'm back. I just feel like that if I do those steps every race, I can make the chase.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Now, of course, you know, next season, the league moves to Heat 3. What adjustment do you think you're going to have to make in your driving style, or possibly in your decision-making setups that's going, different from what you would normally do in an M15 car?
It's very different. The physics are a lot different from NASCAR 15 to Heat 3. Yeah, I actually haven't even played Heat 3 yet, but I already know that it's pretty similar to Heat 2, and the physics in that game are a lot different. So you got to find the right setups to make your car right. Because I know in Heat 2, if you had a setup, you could run wide open in the corners. I don't know how Heat 3 is. But if it's similar to that, you need to have a setup.
Right.
Because I know in 15, there's some tracks that I don't even run a setup.
Yeah. Well, we're interested to see how your performance improves over the course of the season, and how you do throughout the rest of the the season. Just no one last question, though. When you talk about, of course, obviously going from the 34 now back to the 88. Is your decision making, or what's your thought process as far as your ride? Because no news has come out of Hendrick Motorsports that you're going to renew the 88 and run it next season. So what's your thought process, and where do you think you'll end up to start next season at the Daytona?
So it's still up in the air. I think I've made it down to two teams. It's either going to be Hendrick Motorsports, or I was going to go to either the 43 or the 47 and be alliance with All Guns and Hair Bear. But I'm just trying to make the right decision for me.
How important is it to have the right team, the right group of drivers around you? How important do you think that'll be, and do you think you have a chance to battle in the manufacturer's status or in the team status and win the team points bonus?
Yeah, that's very important. I also look at for Hendrick Motorsports and RCR and all those teams, I look at who is actually racing on a week-to-week basis. It's hard to win that team points when you only have Hendrick Motorsports only having 2 guys every single week, when that's like a 4 to 5 car team. Whereas other teams who have 3 to 4 cars consistently running every week. I'd rather be on a team where there's consistently people racing.
Right, absolutely, I'd agree with you. Well, we have enjoyed this interview with you, Ender, and we wish you the best. 2 more races to go, and looking at the points after tonight's races, you sit 8th place in points. Speedy surpassed you for 7th, and he's at 1688. You're at 1681. So your work is not quite finished yet. 2 more races though to get yourself locked in completely, and we look forward to seeing you running out there. And of course, All-Star Weekend, we look forward hopefully to seeing that 88 ride out there for the festivities at Daytona.
Yep, I'll try to get that win too this next coming weekend.
There you go. That oh so elusive win that only Nightfall seems to be able to get nowadays. So we'll keep our eye on you.
Right.
All right, Swift. You know, we got an opportunity to talk to Ender James and everything. What are your thoughts on his comments on the season, on next season, and what do you think he can do next season if he were to maintain that lock-in position?
Well, I agree. I definitely think he's gonna make it in the next season, no doubt. I feel like he's the second best driver out of everyone that's battling there. I feel like him, Speedy, All Guns, and Full Love It are gonna make it to next season. And for him, what he's gonna be able to do next season, I feel like the field will be a lot more balanced, because NASCAR Heat 3 doesn't require as much skill or like setup, what type of setup you use, compared to NASCAR 15.
So you feel he'll have a lot better shot at, you know,
yeah, I was saying
that driver,
probably around a 6 or something, depending on how everyone else does.
Yeah. You know, one thing I've noticed is that, and Ender James mentioned it earlier, hit the nail on the head. When you are absent from the races, there are a lot of drivers who said that they're gonna be back next season because KMR is returning to the NH platform, and a lot of drivers have the NH platform, and a lot of drivers are like, I'm not gonna go and buy the N15 platform to race on, you know, when I have this before me. And so now that KMR is going upgrading now back to the NH models. A lot of drivers will say, hey, okay, count me back in. I'm here. I'm ready. Which means there are going to be a lot more drivers now that you're going to have to beat on a weekly basis. And if you start to miss races, we saw it this season with not so many drivers. Can you imagine with a roster of 23 or 30 drivers, 23, 25, 30 drivers on roster that could race at any given weekend, how important it is that you make sure that you're there, especially if you want a chance to make the chase. He missed way too many races earlier on in the season, and so ultimately it costs him in the long run. And if he wants to ensure that he does not have those issues, then he's going to have to make sure that he is present and make sure that he carries that seriousness into each week. I'm curious to see what he has, especially at the NH model. And so, since we're talking about the NH model, what do you think the season's gonna be like next season with that model?
I believe the field is probably going to be more balanced, because I feel like the setups are like more or less the same for every single track, and you don't really need to adjust as much, like the track bar, or the brake bias, or rubber, or tape, or anything like that. All you really need to adjust is your tire pressures, and there's probably going to be a fixed tire pressure for every track. So, and more of the tracks on NASCAR Heat are like full throttle and wide open, and it's kind of more dependent on the draft than how the car actually handles.
And definitely pros and cons to that. One of the pros, like you said, is going to even up make the track more even, which means it'll be more competitive. I think there'll be more drivers that right now you think about Nightfall running away, that I think that now you're going to be able to look and say, okay, these other drivers now, they have a shot. Now anything can happen. It requires, because it doesn't require as much, it's not as much setup based. Now it requires you to be more consistent. If you're not consistent, if you start to make mistakes in the middle of that race, that could be that 1 or 2 mile per hour difference can be the difference between a first place and a 5th place. And then with everything being more balanced, more stable, think about if you have a late race caution. Now all of a sudden it's 2 or 3 laps to go, caution, and now all of a sudden you really have to be on your P's and Q's. Restarts mean everything. I mean, it's a lot of other factors that are going to start to play in that are going to make it very, very interesting, I feel, late in the race. And so the schedule for KMR Series Season 6 already on the official website for KMR, the Gaming Riff with 2 F's, thegamingriff.com. Check it out. But just as a recap of the regular season, I'm not going to say every race, but we still will infuse the Forza Motorsport 6 with the NASCAR Heat 3. So those thinking about joining KMR, remember that, and that will set the stage for KMR, the Daytona 500, staged Daytona 500. Last season, a great success. Very, very interesting race in which everybody but myself, everybody survived until the final stage with about 10 to go, and everybody decided to wreck each other. So the Daytona 500, fractured chains last season in KMR, last full official season in KMR, before he joins the booth for season 7. So notable race number 1, the return of the short tracks also in S6, as we will have 2 visits to Martinsville, one in the daytime, one under the lights. So it should be fun there. And then Road Week always a favorite of the Road Course Warriors, race 9, 10, and 11. Road America, Sonoma, and Catalunya, the school circuit. So those 3 races will be present in Road Week, and so it's something to look forward to for your Road Course Warriors. A significant drop in restrictor plates based from this season, or from S6 to that we'll have next season compared to this season, which we had a load of restrictor plates, especially in the chase. This season, restrictor plate totals 1, 2, 3. 3 restrictor plates in the whole season. So less wild cards, more races, oval races, road courses, which means you really have to rely on the rhythm, getting yourself. You're really gonna have to apply yourself to next season. In the chase, road courses in the chase. How about the Homestead Miami Roval, a new look for KMR. It's the first time KMR will run the Roval from Homestead. And then championship race next season will be at Michigan. So we look forward to seeing what the championship drivers can do at Michigan, a track that's one of those tracks that's wide open. So a slight mistake could be the difference between first place and 5th place, 6th place. We'll have to pay attention to see what happens there. Swift, what race are you most looking forward to for Series 6?
I'm probably looking forward to Coda Circuit of Americas. This is the first time we're going there, and the track layout's pretty neat. It's in the final championship for us, so it should be pretty interesting since it's a road course.
Yeah, do you think the field has a chance with you know, if you get a driver that's a road course warrior in the final 4, they're gonna have a bad. The other drivers are gonna have a bad day trying to catch him, catch that driver. What do you think about a road course being present in the final 4?
I think it'll cause more aggression levels from drivers, and it'll cause probably more cautions. That's my guess. Everyone will overdrive the corners and stuff. So.
Yeah, definitely. Remember, if you have any questions or comments to leave in the chat, feel more than welcome to. I actually have my chat online, so how about that? So if you have anything, any questions or anything you want us to consider while we are here, feel free to mention it. And I'm going to make sure that my chat is actually, you know, up and running and all of that. Okay. So that I can actually see what people are saying. That would probably be smart. But anyway, so back to this season. 2 races left. Who you have? Championship predictions. Who do you have coming down to the championship?
Who you asking?
You.
Jeez. I say last. I think Speed Bee will be last. I say Fraction gets third. Not being biased, I guess I'd say Nightfall. But I think I have a shot at it. Because Kentucky's my best track in NASCAR 15. And Chicago's a pretty easy track to master, so. But If anything, I'd say a Haas driver wins the championship.
I'll tell you what. You know, one thing about it, I'll say this to just kind of set the stage. It definitely, when you look at how Nightfall has performed in the 1.5 mile racetracks, especially, looking back at the regular season, we're talking 1.5 miles. He's dominated. It's not just been a, you know, eking a win out at the last second. It's been an absolute domination. From Kansas, where Nightfall won, where you know, Michigan, where Nightfall has won, even though that's a 2 mile track. You know, he has just been super consistent. Texas, where he won. Kansas again, where he won. Dover, which is the mile track, where he won. He has really been consistent at the 1.5 miles, and we haven't had a whole lot of 1.5 miles and miles ovals. We have had a lot of road courses, restrictor plates. But what I'm saying is this. There is a good chance that Nightfall pulls away with this. I don't think he liked the taste in his mouth of actually potentially being a driver that could be eliminated after the type of regular season that he has had. And so I think that he will find a way to get this done. However, he's going to have his hands full. Like I said before on the segment, the top 4 drivers that have made it in are the top 4 fastest drivers in KMR. It's just hands down. You know, it's just hands down without question. They've been the best statistically, and they have been the fastest. So I don't see where it could work out any different way for KMR. I think it's great for KMR. The fastest drivers needed to be in the Final 4, and here we are. So I think it's going to be a showdown either way. And one of the things I like about the dual race for the championship, as opposed to only one race, is that a driver can have an off night and still have the potential to win. That's where I think these other drivers like yourself and Fractured may have a leg up, because I think Nightfall is going to dominate that first race. You know, no offense to you or your speed at Kentucky, but I think Nightfall is going to come in, dominate that first race, kind of set the tone. However, that final race, I think, is going to come down to really who wants it more, and that's it, because you're gonna have a lot more battles going on than just the championship battle that could influence what happens, you know, out there on the racetrack. So we'll see, but I think Nightfall has it, man. I think if it was any round in which there would have been a shot for anyone else outside of Nightfall, it would have been the round of 6, and obviously he made it through. So, you know, I think this is it. Well, we got a message from Speedy. He mentions that he just wants to say great season to everyone, and he's really looking forward to next season. It's going to be a big change with game and new drivers. Really going to be exciting to see what all happens next year, and to see who can be consistent. Amen. We look forward to next season, man. Very nicely said by the driver, Speedy, and you know, big time comments there from a champion, our defending champion currently, until someone else wins, and our veteran analyst there. So again, any comments, questions from those that are viewing? Yo, what's going on, guys? If you have any comments or questions that we can consider about KMR, leave them in the chat, and Swift and I will discuss them. In the meantime,
And me.
I look forward And Ender, I forgot Ender's been sitting here the whole time, just being quiet and being like, "Yo, I'm a ghost," you know. I thought you was gone a long time ago. What's up, Ender? So,
Hey.
I'm really looking forward to the All-Star race, man. Really looking forward to the All-Star race. Should be fun. Looking forward to it. Yeah. Daytona. I look forward to the rookie versus pro. That's always my favorite race of the All-Star weekend because your star drivers are not there. So who's gonna step up? And we've seen a lot of drivers that have a lot of potential. Sometimes all they need is to see themselves in victory lane. You know, even if the race doesn't really mean a whole lot, even though they are racing for something, even though the race may not mean that, oh my gosh, you know, they win a championship, it could mean, you know, the difference between them not doing well the next season or doing well the next season. So I can't wait to that. We got a question here. All Sports Games Gaming 5 ask, do you have Forza 7 or Horizon 4? Do I own it and have it? No, I don't have Forza 7 or Horizon 4. Forza 7, I love how they did the transitional weather and track conditions. That's something that I think has been absent in really good racing games for a long time, that, you know, it's not PC based. But the only reason why KMR has not transitioned to Forza 7 is because of some of the things that the league employs when it comes to its racing. While, you know, we do recognize it's an electronic racing format, we want to keep it as real and true to life as possible, and exciting as possible. Damage is on, it's always on. And so there have been reports that, you know, when you get fatally damaged or you get wrecked, or not fatally damaged, but rather if you get wrecked and you have to hit and make adjustments or whatever, get the damage repaired, that there's potential that you can lag out of races. You get, you know, there's some glitches there that involve that. And certain of the features that are in Forza 7 are kind of different from, you know, or I want to say different. I want to say that it's just a big adjustment, So right now we're gonna wait to see what Forza 8 does before we make a transition of that magnitude. And we want to make sure also that it's affordable for everyone as well. Here's another question. Do you have donations on? Well, donations. If you clarify what you mean, what you're referring to by that, then I will answer that.
I think he means like how you can donate, like Twitch.
Yeah, like, is there a button in your stream where he could like donate you money?
I don't see one. You know, honestly, I don't broadcast enough, I guess, to have that ability or whatever. But do appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't figure so. Speedy helped me out. Don't have that right now. But it's something that I'll try and work on, I reckon. Doing broadcast. I wanted to do more broadcast than what I've done, but you know, time has not been on my side. I don't have nationwide, so anyway. Yeah. Let's talk about some awards. Let's talk about some awards. You know, let's do some comparisons. Oh, Ender, you still here?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about who do you think has been the best team, the best overall team this season?
In terms of getting along, stats, like, or just overall?
Overall, stats
Yeah.
wise, getting along, the personal ins and outs. You don't necessarily have to comment on that, but statistically, who do you think has been the best team this season, KMR?
Probably Stewart Haas. Because they've just won so many races with Swift and Nightfall and Fractured. But they don't treat each other like teammates. The best team that probably gets along would probably be RCR.
Okay, Swift, you know, what are your comments on leaving the personal part of it out? Swift, what do you think has been the best team so far this season?
By far RCR. I'm pretty sure they won like 90% of the races. Turnamari has 1 win. I have like 3 starts. I have 7 wins. Nightfall has like 11 or 12. And Fraction has 6. So.
That pretty much makes up the whole season, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it is really.
It does.
Comment from our chief analyst and defending champion, Speedy. Here we go. You're gonna love this. He's asked me, are we gonna make a award for most DNFs? Yeah, because if you want to talk about a team that's been able to tear up the most cars, it would have to be RCR. Like, without question. You know, we've just been able to tear up some race cars. Like, it's become a sport for us. Don't understand it. Especially that Speedy. I mean, can't keep yourself out of the infield care center. I'm pretty sure there are going to be new rules made up on what to do when you're involved in a fatal wreck simply because he's been in so many. It's just going to be like, you're going to have to do so much now. You know, yeah, it's just insane. So a lot of award classes, we go down the line here, talking about, we already talked about potential championship. We'll have to come back to that one. Now I think MVP is probably self-explanatory. My MVP is Nightfall. What about you guys? Who y'all think will be MVP and why?
Nightfall. No reason.
Probably Nightfall. If he wins the championship, then yeah, definitely.
Everybody knows why.
Now, if he doesn't win the championship, then I say everyone else has enough accumulated stats to be fine. I'd say it's kind of like whoever wins the championship, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you might as well say so with all of Stewart Haas being in the chase. Except for the 41. I mean, it's kind of hard not to go wrong with one of those Haas cars.
I think the 41 would be in there if he actually raced. If not, he didn't race, and we would make sure he would be in there. So
that happens a lot, I feel like, in KMR. There's a lot of good drivers, but they just don't show up.
Yeah.
Amari's a good example of that. Nightfall was getting pretty angry in the last round. And he didn't race one of the races.
If you're at the team meetings, then you'd understand.
What are they like?
Pretty fun.
I bet.
Especially after Homestead. That one was really fun.
I bet. And as you can see on the screen, just a side point, yes, KMR does occasionally race in the rain. So yeah, that was actually a really fun race. As you see me sliding through the dirt there, it was fun. Yes, I did a lot of that throughout the whole race, just sliding through the dirt and sliding through the dirt and doing more sliding through the dirt. So yeah, fun race.
Daytona team meeting was pretty interesting too. After the race, not this one's, but ones
The last
last
one.
week. Yeah.
Okay. What was up with the sparkly cars in this? Okay, I'm not even gonna go there. Anyway,
What was it about?
like the sparkly cars at Haas cars at the Bugatti, like the sparkly, no numbers, just sparklies. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going there. Pretty sure I had some team concept going on. I ought to fine you guys for lack of decals and stuff. But anyway, we ain't going there. Yeah. So let's talk about I think of awards to have. Best team, we already talked about this Stewart Haas. Let's deal with try again season. Who gets to try again season this
Cookie
season?
Monster.
Who would you all say?
Cookie Monster.
Oh,
Or
how
Speed
nice are we?
Driver.
What is
Okay,
that?
you gotta
award
pick
supposed to mean?
one.
I
It means
mean,
try again. It means someone who had a really
Speedy,
bad season.
situations came up where he couldn't run the whole race.
Probably Mordecai.
Season. Oh, that is so true. Honestly, yeah, it's definitely Mordecai.
Yeah.
Or Hammer.
Yeah, they were teammates.
Yeah, and they're pretty fast. Like Mordecai, he honestly
He
had
was
the
the
best shot
Nightfall
to win the
of last
championship last season. Like he should have honestly won it.
I
said
think about
Mordecai.
anybody with a try again season. I say Speedy. Like Speedy spent most of his season in the garage. I think that you gotta try again. You gotta have that moment where
Yeah,
you gotta get back at it because
get some more
you
wins.
leave a lot on the table. Yeah, you leave a lot of stuff on the table when you DNF. And it really hurts, and especially since the adjustment with the
since
points.
he won the championship last season.
Yeah, and then comes out and just absolutely lays an egg. I mean, a big one. He laid an ostrich egg. So you gotta try again, cause this was a fluke. You gotta try again. This was a fluke right here. So you gotta do something. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll get a nasty little comment for that one. But it's true. You got to try again. I don't think, in my opinion, Mordecai or Hammer, they didn't even race enough races to be relevant enough, to
I mean, with
even be
Mordecai,
considered for the reward.
what happened with him is, like, he originally, like, wanted to race, but I think Nightfall just made him not want to race. Because, like, Nightfall was faster than him.
And he was having family issues, I believe. Mordecai.
Yeah, I think that's really what got him there was the family issues,
Yeah.
and everything. And I mean, that happens. That comes up, and family is always more important than a video game. And so family's gonna come first in every situation, and when you have issues that come up like that, you have to handle those situations just without question. But I definitely think Speedy's up for that award, and you definitely have to. There's some other candidates. You can throw Hairbear in there. Hairbear didn't have a good season at all. He ran consistent. It was just consistently bad. So he's gonna have to pick it up. There's a lot of drivers that you could definitely consider. So other awards. think about some awards I normally have up there. What do I normally have up there? That's sad. I can't
Rookie
remember
of the
what I
year.
put myself.
Did you say rookie?
Right, right. Rookie of the year. No, I did not. Let's talk about that rookie of the year. Who y'all got?
Nightfall. It's not a competition.
Well, dang, we could have made it semi-suspenseful. You know what I'm saying?
Besides
Semi,
Nightfall.
at least. Like if Nightfall fell off the face of the earth right now, who would be the rookie of the year?
Probably Amari.
Who else is a rookie? Yeah, turn Amari. I mean, I feel like
Why?
turn
He didn't
Amari
race
should
any
give him a
races.
run for his money. I mean, I used
He
to
didn't
race
race
with
any
Turn Amari
races. Come on,
in other
man.
leagues, and he's like just as fast as Nightfall.
Who else is
so-
a rookie though who's won a race?
Well, I mean, rookie of the year doesn't necessarily have to win a race, you know.
I mean,
But
Amari's race
rookies
win was
this
Team
season,
Orders.
rookies this season, Nightfall, obviously.
Is Dunker a
Amari.
rookie?
No, he is not. Technically, Vogel Elliott because he hasn't completed one season. Technically,
He only
Big Red
raced,
because
like,
he
one
hasn't
race.
completed one season. Alpha Devil because he has not completed one season, and Dalen Allman because he is a rookie. He's obviously a rookie.
Allman's definitely the rookie of the year. Nah. Yeah, probably Amari besides Nightfall.
Yeah, it's amazing. I agree with y'all. I was just kind of making a joke out of it. No, without question, Nightfall has just won.
Yeah.
You know, it's just been insane. Here's one for you guys. Most improved driver. Here's what Speedy had to say about that. The most improved driver, in my opinion, goes to Ender. He said it should go to Ender or All Guns. They have really been improving and being consistent. Congratulations, Ender. Good job. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with Speedy and his comments? Who would you pick as most improved driver this season?
I do agree with him. I feel like me and All Guns have made a big improvement from last season. I feel like the points, because I know last year I made the final round of the playoffs, but that's just because I was I just didn't miss as many races as I did this season. But yeah, I feel like I've been consistent throughout the season, the races that I have raced.
Swift, what are your thoughts on the most improved?
See, Ender got better, but like he didn't make the chase at all, so that's where I'm like, eh. And All Guns, I mean, all he did was win a race. He won more races last season. Like, I don't really see the improvement in them.
Okay, so if not either one of those, who you got? Gotta have somebody. Who you got? Most improved.
I mean, Speed B did get better. I think I got better from last season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Swift did
yeah,
get
he
a lot
got
better
better.
from last season.
But like, I think I got a bit more better. Like, cause I only had like one win last season. That's just my opinion.
Well,
I mean, I honestly
mean,
probably could have more, but don't know.
Do you normally
I-
give an award to somebody that's won it before?
yeah. If
Oh,
they
okay.
continue to improve, they can continue to get that award, you know.
Yeah.
If they stand out stand out from everybody else. But you know, I really look at yeah, there's a lot of drivers you could pick. I look at you, Ender. Most improved. You have improved, especially in the back half of the season, since you've been showing up. Really been improving, finishing in the top 5. You know, finishing in good position. But if I had to look at any standout from this season compared to last season, a standout driver, All guns, he's getting better. He's definitely getting better, but you know, last year, if he was able to duplicate what he did last season in his wins and everything, I would definitely say, okay, yeah, you know, all guns for sure. But the fact that he was unable to do that, only getting one win, you know, not staying up top the point standings for a long period of time, he just gets swallowed up, ultimately drifting out of the chase, and you know, just chase postseason was just not good. So I definitely have to say that Swift, you have definitely been a shocker. You know, especially since your move from RCR to Stewart-Haas, you really flipped the switch, and all of a sudden, we've gone from a driver who's consistent in the chase, but someone you don't, you know, when you're game planning, that's not the one you circle star, exclamation point, and then study all the film on. You just kind of, okay, yeah, he's here. We'll have to keep an eye on him, you know, but ultimately he'll fade away. It went from that to OMG. You have to honestly pay close attention to this guy because he could sneak up and bite you, and that's the type of eye that you have gotten now, and it's been incredible to see that transition from what you were a season ago or whatever to now. That's been impressive, and that's who I have in mind for a most improved driver, depending on what happens in the final round. So we'll have something to look at for later on, guys. Remember, next weekend, the final 2 races, of course, it won't be broadcast. We apologize about that. However, last 2 races will be Kentucky and championship race at Chicagoland. We'll do a speed report to interview the champion and talk about his season. We'll have more interviews and more comments after the chase. We'll prepare you for the qualifier on Heat 3, as well as any updated information. You can check out the website, the official website for KMR, thegamingriff.com. You can check out my YouTube channel, all the races that are this season, as well as all the seasons as far back as I could possibly go. And if you're thinking about joining, remember the upcoming season, remember to add me and friend me, Cookie Monster 27 on Xbox One, and you will be able to have the opportunity to run NASCAR Heat 3 and FM6. It's been Cookie, it's been Swift, driver of the 10, it's been Ender James, driver of the 88, Speedy, our current defending champion. We hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast, the speed report, and we'll catch you guys next time.